Hi. Okay.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
So, Craig, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Are you at home?
I am at my mother-in-law's, actually, in her office. I'm about to go to a studio around the corner from her home. So,
thank you so much for your time, then. You're a busy man.
Yes, it's busy this end, yeah.
Okay. Well, so first of all, The Wind in the Willows will come out here in Japan, will be screened nationwide starting July 8th. So could you tell us how you become a part of the play when it was originally coming out in the UK?
Yeah, so it was in 2017. I auditioned for a show that I didn't really know much about. Obviously, I know the story of The Wind in the Willows, but I didn't know much about the show itself. My friend Fra played it originally on the tour, which was about a 3-week run around the UK, just to test it before it went into the West End. But then Fra got another job, lucky for me. And then I was auditioning, and I auditioned and got the role, and was kind of, oh wow, we're at the London Palladium. I'm the main part. I'm one of the top billing. I was like, oh wow. And then we were obviously recording it. It ran for 12 weeks. And it was amazing. It was really, really great. It was one of my favourite shows to ever be a part of, only because the connection between the younger audience that it has as well. So it could have been the first experience that a young child had of theatre. And I think that for me, that's really important as well, as just somebody that loves theatre, starting that journey off for the younger generation. So yeah.
Great responsibility then.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I saw the play already on screen, and it was wonderful. But what did you do to make the role better, or what was the preparation?
Well, I'm originally from the West Country, which is a very farmer-heavy. I'm not sure if you know much about the West Country. So my accent's slightly different to what Mole has. I'm not sure if you picked up on that. So that was my first thing. I was like, where would he be based? So I was like, I know Mole's like digging up farmland, so maybe a farmer's accent, kind of that kind of vibe. And I was using my native tongue, so it was good in that sense. And then you're going to laugh, but I actually bought some Mole books to see how how they were, how the animal moves, how the animal, obviously he wears glasses, so he doesn't see very far. All those kind of things. And I think we workshopped a lot on how how all of the animals move and how their physicality, and we kind of humanized the animal, if you want. So instead of playing animals, we humanize. What would that animal be like? Right. What would that human be like if it was that animal? It was more like that.
So it was like finding the great balance between human and animals.
Yeah, so some people went a bit further, like, they were a bit more like with their hands and things like that, a bit more twitchy, especially like the weasels and things. But for me, it was more, I led with my nose, because I was like full of wonder. I couldn't see very far, so it was like, I need to be very close to everything. Right. It's kind of more like that.
And did you get any extra inspiration from the original book by Kenneth Grahame?
Obviously, I had to read it. I read it lots, and I've read it as a kid. We tried to be as true as we could to the book, because that's important when you're doing something as iconic as The Wind in the Willows. So I think we did that, but more. Right.
And you personally, did you find anything new after you read it? Yeah. After you got the role?
Yeah, I think in the audition process, Mole was a little less, was a bit more timid. But actually, when Simon came on board as Ratty, me and Simon had this like double act, and it was more like a bromance rather than like this kind of coy, like fluffy kind of relationship. Whereas actually, it was more. It became like a double act, and I set up Ratty's jokes all the time, and actually Mole was much more front-footed and dropped his own, put his foot in everything,
Wow.
It was a bit silly, really, but it was good.
Yeah, nice chemistry then.
Yeah, it was great.
So what was the fun part playing Mole, and what was the most challenging part?
I think the fun thing was just doing the show every night. I loved it. It was we never left the stage, Ratty and myself, literally from the get-go. And if you remember rightly, it was from spring all the way till the end. I would just run around, and I had like a little fat suit on, and I was boiling hot in the middle of the summer at the Palladium. Obviously, no aircon in the theatre, main theatre, so it was super hot. So that was the fun part. The thing I found most challenging, I think like anything, it's like keeping it alive, especially with comedy. Mm-hmm. You have to keep it, I think we succeeded, both Simon and I and everybody else, but I think it's keeping that freshness, which is like every show and every piece of theatre or anything really, isn't it? Keeping it fresh and alive for, 12 weeks.
But you have different audiences with different kids in front of you.
Absolutely, yeah. So then they react differently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It made you fresh then.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, matinees were really, really popular with the younger generation. Obviously it was full, up to 2,500 people sat there screaming.
Wow.
And eating lots of sweets.
Envy.
Yeah.
Right. And what kind of an advices did you get from stage director Ms. Rachel Cavanaugh?
So we started off trying to basically do a carbon copy of what had happened on the tour. And actually we sat down with Rachel and was like, me and Simon are very different to the two people that played it before. And I think it's important for us to find our own way through these characters. And actually, as soon as that, we spent the first maybe 5 days trying to emulate what had happened already.
I see.
And then once Rachel and I and Simon sat down, and we were like, actually, I think we should just see what happens with our own paths. And then she was really thrilled with what we come up with. And she's a fantastic director. She kind of let us do what we wanted, and then she reined us in when we maybe went too far, or
I see. So she had a clear vision of how the role should be.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, but then she was, especially in the auditions, she was like, bring yourself to the role, and then that kind of blossomed more in the rehearsal room, obviously. So it was great fun.
I see. And you also had a perfect chemistry with Mr. Rufus Hound and the other casts. Yeah. Any great moments you can share with us?
Oh, well, I don't know, really. I mean, I kept eating. I'm sure there's moments where I just had food constantly, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know whether I should be doing this every night.
Yes. And
they were laughing at me. I'd be eating a jam sandwich in the middle of a scene, and then I'd be eating some sausages, and then I'd be eating some cream cake, and I was like, this is not good for the diet. And I think we all had a really good time. Rufus is, brilliant. And he has a lot of energy. So actually, that really helped keep it fresh, because you would never know what he would be doing from one show to the next.
Really?
Well, within reason, he'd throw something up, and him and Ratty had like little joke-offs and things during the thing, and things that keep it alive. I can't really remember any like moments of because it was in 2017 that we did it,
right?
So it's quite a way ago. I mean, I've done a few things since. So
but you had lots of food. Was it that stressful every night?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stress eating. Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was brilliant. It was one of those shows that I didn't have to think about, because once I was in the character and once I'd hit the stage, you didn't have much downtime. So therefore, you just didn't have time to second guess anything. So you just were so in the moment. You were just in the theatre. So
intimate.
You just exactly. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Well. That's about the play, and talking more about yourself. You are both a musical actor and also a musician yourself.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between those two, and what does both mean to you, to each other?
So, I mean, music has always been my love, and hence why I got into musical theatre, really. I started off as a musician. I played the guitar and piano when I was really young, and then I started learning the drums. which got me into the musical department at my local school. And then they put on musicals, and that kind of spiraled into that. And I actually did my my work experience when I was 15 in We Will Rock You in the West End, in the pit as a drummer. So that's where I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a drummer, and go down that route. And then all of a sudden, I was kind of finding myself auditioning for drama schools, and then getting into drama schools, and then I'm at drama school, and I'm like, okay. So the acting side of things, where I was, doing it as a hobby, took over the musician side of things, and that became my job. And then the musician side has now become my kind of my joy and my hobby, essentially, which obviously I'm trying to pursue as well, but it doesn't necessarily pay the bills as a musical or play and film does. So as of yet.
But you're still doing both, so is that a perfect balance, doing both for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd like the musician stuff and the writing stuff to kind of take off a bit, so I'm getting paid to do it, and I think that will take the pressure off of myself, because when you're writing, you're not people don't pay you to write, so unless you're in a commission to do stuff. So I'm just trying to get my name out there that way, really. It was something I was going to ask you about, because I've got quite a few fans in Japan.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to come out and do some sort of gig with maybe first act musical theatre numbers, second act with more the pop contemporary stuff. So I was going to chew your ear off with that, but we can do that maybe after this interview.
Wonderful. That's amazing. Yeah, your fans can't wait that. Great. Yeah. So what was the first record or CD that you bought, and what kind of a musical acts are you influenced by? Well, what's your favorite band or musician?
Now, I would say my biggest influence is Anderson .Paak. I love Anderson .Paak.
Yeah,
I
wonderful.
Love him so much.
Yeah. Also a drummer.
And exactly. I think that's what really brings it home to me. And do you know an artist called Bernhoft? He's a Norwegian artist.
No, not yet.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic. He's quite big I saw him at an intimate gig in October last year, but there was about 100 people in London watching him, and he's fantastic. He's a big influence of mine. Jason Mraz, I love Jason Mraz.
Wonderful, yeah. So he's a farmer now.
Yes, he is, an avocado farmer.
Exactly. Doing two things too. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I've got quite an eclectic taste of music, and I try and bring it all in, like funky, soul-y. Bring it all in, really.
First record you bought?
First record? Oh, wow, this is really embarrassing. So I bought When the Going Gets Tough.
Oh, really?
Boyzone.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. That was a huge hit back in the days.
Huge hit, and I'm not sure why I bought it. It was the first thing I owned on CD. I think actually on vinyl, I didn't obviously buy it because I'm 33 and I don't think vinyls were something I could maybe buy myself at the time. But I had I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt on vinyl. I'm not sure why.
That was a hit back in 92, 3, somewhere like that. Yeah.
I was about 3, so I'm going to blame my mum and dad for that.
That was a huge hit in Europe too. So at that time, I was in Germany too, so I know it was a big hit. Yeah. Wow.
But anyway, slightly embarrassing. So sorry about that.
No. Everybody starts like that, so it's normal. Yeah. Well, as we have mentioned, you're also a great singer, and you perform as a solo artist and also a member of a band. So, could you tell us about your album or your EP, Emotion, the concept of the album, and how it was made?
So, it was during lockdown. Like everyone else, we were all at home. And my mental health was taking a bit of a turn, and I thought this is the perfect time to write. So I touched base with a friend of mine, Gus Gowland, who has written Pieces of String, which I performed at the Mercury Theatre back in 2018. and he suffers with depression, and I suffer with anxiety. And we thought, let's see what the differences and what the similarities are with the two. And we came up with an idea that it's kind of like a spectrum of, so like anxiety is one end of the spectrum and depression is the other end. So what brings them all together? And we came up, and he's a brilliant lyric writer. So and I'd sit at my piano or my guitar or whatever and just plonk away, and then I'd send it on WhatsApp to him, and then 10 minutes later he'd send it back with some lyrics, and then we'd move on. And it became like that, really. We only actually wrote one song together in person. So we actually wrote everything socially distanced and via WhatsApp. So it was interesting. And then we recorded it literally around the corner from here. And we released it in Mental Health Week in May last year. So we're currently writing some more bits and bobs at the moment.
But, through WhatsApp, or are you meeting now? Seeing us, seeing each other.
I sent him something yesterday via WhatsApp, like old times. But he lives about 300 miles from where I live, so it works anyway. So actually, we just set up a kind of trend, really. It's been great. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we might do some more.
Yeah, and you're also a member of the band, the Barricade Boys. The people who are going to see the play on theaters will also love to know about the band. So could you introduce and explain about the band a little bit?
Yeah, so we've just finished our UK tour, actually, and we sing, all of the musical theatre classics, but in a 4-part harmony and our own unique way. Like we do a Master of the House song, but swung, so it's more like, which is really fun. There's about 20 of us, Barricade Boys, but there's four main A team, they call it, and I'm one of the 4.
Right.
We're performing on West On Live on Saturday, actually.
Okay.
Which is in Trafalgar Square. We just kind of bonded in Les Mis. That's what it literally is, a Les Mis kind of boy band, essentially. So all of the pool of people have been in Les Mis at some point in their lives. So and then we get together every now and then, and it's we release albums as well. And we're hoping to get some sort of US tour as well at some point. So who knows? Right. Maybe we'll come to Japan. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I've got lots of strings to my bow.
Great. You're multi-talented. So you hinted a little bit about the future musical projects as a musician, but what's your future project as an actor also and as a musician once again? What can you tell us?
So at the moment, I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus just because my wife's about to give birth to our second child.
Oh my God, congratulations. Is it too early to say it?
Say what?
Is
say
it
congratulations?
too early? Yeah.
I mean, you can.
Congratulations.
So we already have a 3.5-year-old girl, and then we've got another girl on the way.
Okay.
So at the moment, the acting's world, I'm just fizzling away, just because I don't really want to be away from home while that's happening, So it kind of minimises what I can do. So that's what it is. But my goal is to do a bit more film and a bit more TV, because that would work well around my family, and more musician stuff. So that and the musician stuff would be ideal, putting that into the universe. Because theatre can take you away so much, 6 days a week, 8 shows a week. It's quite a lot, and not sure that's for us at the moment, especially with a young family,
Wow. Congratulations once again. Wonderful. Happy
Thank
dad.
You. I know.
So people in Japan will see the Wind in the Willows this summer in theaters once again. So could you tell us your favorite scene and also where to watch? Good fans.
Where to watch?
Yeah, what should we watch? I mean, what's the big part, or where should we focus on by watching it?
See. I mean, it's all about Mole's journey, and obviously I'm going to be really biased here and say that it's amazing to watch Mole grow through the show. I haven't actually seen it for ages, but my daughter loves it, and she likes the song "Messing About in a Boat," which is, I think, one of my favourite things to have been a part of, just because it's so pretty and so beautiful and such a lovely song.
Yes.
The whole thing is lovely. I mean, I think that's my favourite part, I think.
Okay. So, and anything left to say to the Japanese fans who are going to see the film?
I hope you enjoy it, and let me know how you find it on social media. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Okay.
And let me know.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay. はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you so much. Thank you. That's it.